I'm gonna stay purposefully vague because you clearly want to be kind of blind for this, so I don't want to spoil too much for you. Um, but for the summons, just look it up. Just go to Google and say, "How do I summon in Bloodborne?" Or sorry, in Elden Ring. They don't tell you anything, and it's a stupid mechanic. So you'd be way better off just looking it up.
Is it something you think I should do?
Yes, yes, definitely. It adds like a Pokemon element to the game, which is kind of fun. Which obviously you like Pokemon, so I think you should. And it's a fun part of it. It makes the bosses a lot easier because it gives the bosses sometimes other targets to attack that aren't you. So it's a great way to give you like a helping hand, especially for a new guy. Because I'm assuming you haven't fought Margit yet.
I think I did. What does Margit look like?
He's like on a bridge. And he's like a big...
Yeah, he's like floats in the air. He's my great enemy that I felled. And I did it with a cooperator. There's like a little summon thing.
Okay, so like a summon would take that place. And it's just something you can always just summon it yourself. You don't have to have like another person there. That's essentially what a summon is.
Okay.
I recommend it.
Yeah, don't doubt me, Spencer. I beat Margit.
Well, I mean, you had to summon for it, and it's not.
No, it's true. I know.
It is hard. It's hard, and with the summons, it helps, and it's fun to collect them because then you can have like a little. Side character.
Without the summon, I don't think I could have done it.
So yeah, I recommend doing it. Just look up a guide. It's like it's really dumb when you read it. You'll be like, that's really stupid. It's like a series of actions you have to complete to get it.
The main part I'm really like pushing past that castle area, and there's like a couple like knights that just like will 3-shot you and not give you enough time to use your flask. So I could see it being helpful for something like that.
You can only summon them in certain areas. I can't remember if that is part of it, but in general, yes, they will help you out. I'm trying to stay very vague because I don't want to ruin, like I said, any of the details. But one quick tip I can throw at you is just upgrade your vigor, especially as a newer player. That's very important. Get that to as high as like I think it's 60 is the soft cap, or maybe a harder cap or something, whatever for it. But vigor is important. And then aside from that, I won't tell you anything. I wanted to ask you, have you done any like of the dungeon style content that there are, like entered any caves, entered any fortresses?
Sure. Yeah, I have. I'm always hunting for like treasure and stuff, like, and just whatever's in the like the basements. There's like a sorceress lady. One of the first areas unlocked, there was like some pumpkin head in like a basement, and that was pretty cool. And then like there's another one. There's this like a Deathbringer or something. He could like blood loss you real quick. And in general, I'm just exploring anywhere and everywhere. And if I get fed up with one area, I just go back to another. And I wanted to ask you about why you recommend going so high for vigor when your potions only restore so much health.
So, well, you're asking me, so then I can tell you some of those things.
Because I have some other issues, like my loadout with like a brass shield and a sword and like decent armor puts me in the heavy load category, and then I start rolling slow. Like to me, it's like I need endurance to make that a medium load.
Yeah, so the game it's so complex and customizable to your style that you can either be like a heavily armored person and then you'd have to build endurance, or else, because you do not want a fat roll. Fat roll will reduce your iframes. So yeah, if you really want to be a guy that wears a lot of armor, then yes, you'll have to build a lot of endurance. The thing is with vigor is, as you've clearly understood, it'll increase your health. So you'll be able to take more hits. Yes, potions currently don't, the way that you're playing. I'm trying again. I don't want to spoil too much, but the way you're playing, it doesn't seem like the potions are healing a lot of your health. But as you collect, there are items around the world that will increase the efficacy of your potions, so you'll be able to heal more with them. And therefore, if you can take more hits, the more hits you can take as a newer player, the more you can read bosses and understand what they do. and it'll make the learning curve easier to be able to counter them. In future playthroughs, which I'm sure you'll do once you get the hang of it, you'll say, maybe I don't need so much in vigor now because I kind of know what I'm doing. But as a newer player, vigor is the most important stat because you won't get one shot, which will happen in this game a lot and in a lot of Souls games, as I'm sure you've realized. What do you think about the game? And as like a Zelda player, I always thought that this game was like if they could have made Zelda back in whenever they made the first Zelda. It's like it's kind of that. But what do you think of this game as like old school roots? Where do you think it fits?
Etrian Odyssey.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of Etrian Odyssey.
It's just the scope and the gravity of these monsters that are patrolling. Like, you know, like you'll fight like pretty common enemies, and they'll basically be an FOE. Like these guys are gargantuans. I just got teleported to like the beast area, and then there's a fucking Gryphon just standing there with his axe, and I just hit him for fun. And he just turned around and slammed me one shot. I'm like, not doing that again. But the game is full of stuff like that, and I really love it. Guys, they'll just pop out of the ground. You can really underestimate characters' power, and then also the scope of like how dying feels, how much you lose when you die.
I did want to ask a question, but first I will just say I will proudly fly my World of Final Fantasy flag high. But you are playing this on the Series S, I take it.
Yes.
Have you noticed any issues? Because like the Series S is the least powerful of the consoles that can play it. Have you noticed any issues with the game on the console? Like,
so you can
frame rate,
prioritize performance or visual style. I obviously opt for performance. So what happens is some textures in the background will be I don't know about missing, but like a shade on like underneath the trees, or like the grass won't populate until you're in close proximity. It's barely noticeable for me, and I don't care about that stuff. I still think it looks great and it just feels and plays great. I'm nervous to play it in visual style just because I don't want to lose performance. I don't want the game to chug. So I tend to avoid that. But I could try it. But I don't have issues. Nothing has been like a major problem. I did kill a sword knight through the wall, but I kind of took advantage of that anyway. It's like, hell yeah, I could use this easy XP.
I haven't heard anything though. Yeah, so that's what I was asking. But you know, like there's some times where huge AAA games like this have issues on Series S. Like I talked about before, Resident Evil 4 Remake had some issues when it first launched on Series S. I had a few issues with Alan Wake 2. Nothing in game, but like crashes. Like the game crashed a few times on me on the console for some reason. And I've heard some stories about Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't experienced it, but and they even cut out the local co-op for that game for the Series S version. So I was just curious because I know this is a big game, and the Series S will go down in history as a weird mid-gen console almost. I was going to say something. Oh, I was going to say, you know what? I haven't played this game. I want to, but I love the Souls games. And I just want to say, like, it's so refreshing to play these games because, like we have so many examples now of games companies not understanding what people actually want to play. I mean, we just saw that with that Concord game that died in 2 days or whatever from Sony. It's like, and then I love the fact that FromSoft's able to make these games that almost spit in the face of like what like gaming companies think they have to do to make a traditional game. They almost like invert all of it to make like almost close to being like the most non-approachable game series of all time, and they are so commercially successful. And other companies still can't capture that magic that they have. So yeah, I'm excited to get to play this at some point. I really want to, but I want to wait until I just know I can just sit and play and not have to worry about like doing a map out or editing a video or going to work or whatever it is. If I have like a week where I can just do nothing, I'm just gonna be like, oh, Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean that was me on Friday. You're like, oh, I don't know about Final Fantasy 2 this week. I was like, all right, say no more. Elden Ring it is.